Hello, I am Karen Ray. This is Fave Live. Welcome, ladies. We are here to help you live an inspired life, and we are bringing guests to talk with us and help us along that journey. Just so excited to have Tracy here with me today. Tracy Cromwell, welcome to Fave Live.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be a guest. I so appreciate this opportunity. Thank you so much.
You bet. Well, today our topic is it's not just about the food, and we're going to have a discussion about your new book and about what you're doing and how you can help us along our journey with food. So I'm just going to give the ladies a little background on you so they know who we're talking about and talking with. Tracy wrote here, being told by her doctor in 2006 that she was headed towards a future as a type 2 diabetic. Tracy had to start making better life choices. A yo-yo dieter for most of her life, the news of the diagnosis was frustrating, but it put her on a path to wellness. At 53, Tracy feels healthy and strong, taking on a century bike rides. Oh, we're going to have to talk a little bit about that. Eating in a way that supports her body and finally feeling good in her own skin. Her own health journey inspired her to go back to school and change careers. Tracy now helps clients create completely personalized roadmap to health that suits their unique body, lifestyle, preferences, and goals. And Tracy believes a chronic illness diagnosis can be the beginning of a new healthy life, and never give up on your body. Tracy, that is so wonderful because, you know, so many women are I call it entering into a more interesting age. And we're having health issues where, you know, women are finding a little bit trouble sometimes dieting, finding that healthy spot. How are we going to live? What does this new season of life look like? And you're here to help us do that.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So I'm going to just take a moment whenever I bring on guests and when I have them fill out their questionnaire, I ask them a question. So we'll get on to our talk about food here in just a second. We'll let the ladies come on board. And one of the things that you wrote about when you were in high school, you were a people pleaser. I know so many of us identify with that. And you played the flute.
Yes, I still play.
Oh, you do? Oh, how I played the flute too.
Oh, I love it.
So we'll give the ladies. So one of our questions here today was, did you play an instrument in high school? And put in the comments if you played the flute or the clarinet or if you played in bands. So, or maybe
it was fun for a little while. I played tenor saxophone, and then I was in choir as well as a singer and in a jazz choir. And my director said, hey, you know, why don't you try playing bass guitar? And so I tried that for a little while, and it hurt my fingers so bad.
Yeah, I tried to learn how to play the guitar as an adult because my son was learning.
Yeah.
I couldn't even read music anymore. It was like a foreign language. I'm like, and I'm like, I just felt uncoordinated, but I applaud you for playing all those instruments and trying that.
It was a lot of fun. And, you know, and I sing in a choir in Seattle, and, you know, I'm taking a break from it, but also we aren't singing in person anyway. But I get an opportunity to play my flute with them sometimes. And, you know, it's just so nice to have that outlet. It's still available.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thanks for sharing that with us. And so let's talk a little bit about, you have some designations behind your name, some certifications, and so just give the ladies kind of an idea of who you are and what you're about here before we start diving into some of the questions.
Sure. So I studied with the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, so I'm certified with them, and also with Precision Nutrition out of Canada. I studied with them, and then also my journey led me as my coaching clients were asking, well, how are you staying fit? I want to learn from you. I thought, oh, I should probably get certified as a trainer. So I'm certified with the National Academy of Sports Medicine as a trainer, and then a weight loss specialist as well. And sometimes I think that, as we'll probably talk about, but, you know, 10 years ago, I would never have said I would be sitting here right now with those certifications and with a healthy body. You know, I just wouldn't have seen it for myself.
Yeah, so type 2 diabetes diagnosis, that you were on the road to that. I mean, what, how were you there and how did you get here now?
I get a bit emotional thinking about it.
Yeah.
I never really liked who I was, and I always was so judgmental of who I was. So I was always a people pleaser, which we mentioned a little earlier. And through that, I would always blame my body for not being able to handle whatever I dealt it, and I would deal it a lot of stuff, meaning just bad food choices. I had no connection as to how food affected me. I actually thought all this health woo-woo was just woo-woo, and why would they make food that would harm you? Why, the pharmaceutical industry, they're fine. I just was blind and to all of this, and the other thing was I just didn't want to learn. I didn't want the responsibility of having to learn, and I wanted someone just to tell me what to do. So I was totally confused, and and I'd have stages in my life where I was really fit, and then I'd be overweight, really fit and overweight. But I look at these photos from when I was younger, when I was fit, and I knew what I still felt like inside. I didn't feel good enough. I didn't feel worthy. I felt like my body still wasn't good enough. And I despised it for not being what I thought it should be, so that I could be worthy of other people's love or attention. I just had this very skewed view of myself. And so when I was in theater, for just throwing this in there too, I loved theater because I could get on stage and be somebody different. And I had confidence portraying someone else. But when I got off stage, I was just still me and having to put these facades up as to who I was. And so those mindsets really led me to the state of prediabetes when it was late 30s. I was in a very stressful job. I was having trouble, navigating big corporate world. I wasn't sleeping. I was loving wine and chocolate pairing. So all of a sudden I noticed I was like, I'd also had a knee injury, which threw me off my game. I couldn't ski anymore. I couldn't run. I could barely use it. And so I just kind of gave up. I was like, I should have appreciated myself a lot earlier. I should have loved myself a lot sooner. Why did I do this? Now I'm in my 40s and life is over. It's kind of where I was.
Right.
And then,
how many women can relate to this? I mean, not enough. How are we feeling? Then we have injury and all those steps along the way. I'm like, yep, me too. Me too. That affects you.
So one day I was just realizing I was thirsty all the time, and I had to go to the bathroom a lot. But it was a different kind of an urge to go to the bathroom. It's like water would just go running right through me. And, I didn't think much of it. So I went for my annual exam, and then I got the phone call, your blood sugar's high. You're in a state of prediabetes. And so they called me in to talk to me, but all they said was, you can, well, the nice part was she said, you can change this. You have the ability to change this. But all she told me was to stop eating refined grains and eat whole grains, and sent me on my way. And so I fledglinged for 3 years trying to figure this out, because I am a bit bullheaded too. And my family will tell you, I can do it myself, so, which is, it gets me into trouble. But through that stumbling along the way, I had to learn to listen to my body. But one of the interesting things was I felt empowered because I had a note. For some reason, I was at a stage in my life that I needed a note from somebody to tell me it was okay to take care of myself. So when I came home with that, it meant finally I don't have to please people by eating everything they give me. Because you do that, we have that relationship with food. We celebrate around food. Someone brings you a cake, they make you cookies. And even though all of a sudden I realized I felt horrible when I ate those things, but I never connected that, and so started that journey of listening to when I ate, what happened in my stomach, what happened, did I get diarrhea? And oh my gosh, no wonder I felt horrible almost all my life, and therefore had high anxiety. My gut was always a mess because I can't eat certain foods,
So that puts you on to learning and being certified. And so now, what is your mission for women?
My mission is, oh my goodness, if we can just, my wish for women is that we are worthy now. Our bodies are worthy right now, no matter what state they're in. If your body is suffering right now, take the blame off of yourself right now and realize that you and your body are worthy of health, of taking care of yourself. We've all been, I'll say the word brainwashed. As women, we care for others first, and taking care of ourselves is selfish. And it is not. It's just not. And the world needs us to feel good. The world needs women out there that are clear of mind. When you don't feel good, you can't think well. You can't perform well in your work, and if we have a mindset that we aren't worthy for whatever reason that is, we have to figure that out. Why don't we think that way? And really start challenging where that thought came from in the first place. And is it even valid, right? Mm-hmm. So it's all connected. If we can look at our lives where every piece is connected, and it all is connected to our health, our finances, our careers, our relationships, Wow. And once I realized that, and if I quit stuffing down my inner voice too, I would shove her down all the time. No, we're not doing that. No, we're not doing that. And then I started listening to her, and she goes, you lost in the recession. I lost my job in the career and in construction. And here's my head again. I have a note. I can change careers. I'm like, Tracy, I finally started listening to her. It took me a little while to act on it because I felt really unsure about it, but I finally acted on it. And by acting on my inner voice and listening to her, it's changed my life forever.
Yeah. So you talk a lot about the mind body as a team.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that. Because right now you're talking about the mind. You help women with food and get over some of those yo-yo dieting things that everybody does. And it really, you're talking a lot about the mind. How is that the body?
Yeah. So in my example, my experience was my mind hated my body. It hated it. And the reality is your body feels that. Even if you took a moment, just take a moment right now and focus maybe on your bicep and say, I hate you. You're just so weak. I bet you will feel like, the muscles kind of go, oh, it hears, our emotions are so strong, and our cells react, and our body listens to us. And so when I realize my body is my number one team member, I live in it, and it can help me do so many things, and I owe it the opportunity to perform as best it can, not in a judgmental way that I failed in the past. We just, because we all fail. I still have this little bit of like, oh, okay, I'm a coach, but doesn't mean I don't make mistakes. I want you to understand that. So when I realized that my body was my number one team member, and my mind accepted that, and that no matter what state is in sickness and in health, it's still always trying to do its very best to keep us alive. And then our mind needs to realize, well, what level of keeping us alive is what we really want? Is it, feeling sick all the time? Is that good enough? And getting your brain to realize, well, what is healthy to it? So if it's just thinking, well, you woke up and you were breathing today, that's a win, if that's where it thinks that's all that matters, but you feel sick and you don't feel good and you don't have energy, getting your mind to realize, hey, what's the pros and cons? What are my wins if I start taking care of this? If I haven't been to the doctor in a while, it's scary, but once you know where you are, and that's one thing we talk about in the book, once you know where you are with your body, then you can start making plans and educating your mind on, this is how we feel when we do this, or this is how we feel when we do that. where's the reward? Because the mind wants reward, you know? So is eating for me, it's caramels, craft caramels, sugary stuff.
Oh.
That's it. But I know if I eat it, my mouth's happy and all this, but within minutes, my digestive tract is hurting. My brain's finally learning that, you know, that, oh, we don't feel good after we eat that. So getting these two to talk and listening, you know, are you swelling? I mean, sometimes if people drink a lot, they will swell, they'll lose their ankle, you know, the body becomes very puffy. Or when we're eating foods or having something happen to us that's not correct. If you have swelling, you've got to figure out the source and then train the brain that stopping that behavior is so much more rewarding than having the behavior.
Wow. Wow. So there's so much here to unpack. So
there's a lot.
So you have a new book coming out.
Yes.
I am so congratulations that I know you've been working on this for a long time, and I had the pleasure to read it, and I love the how it is all put together, and that we get to choose how the chapters that fit us, and you've got great examples. It's called Your Personal Journey with Food, and I love that because you take it and you realize that everybody is different, and everybody needs different steps in different orders.
Yes. Once I realized that too, and that doesn't mean, I think because we all try and fit into these boxes or these programs, that if it doesn't work for us, we feel there's something wrong with us. Yeah. It's not the case at all. We all want, you know, a lot of us really want health, and we want to feel good, and we want to challenge our body to be better and stronger. But how we get there is going to be different because we have different circumstances. Our bodies need some different food types. Maybe you have to get through a chronic illness first, you know? And so to say that there's something wrong with you because you don't fit into that box is not a true statement. Right. We just have to find what's perfect for us. And once I started enjoying that journey, I'm like, oh my God, I feel really good when this happens, or oh, no wonder as a kid I was having diarrhea all the time. We were eating this all the time and there's a timeline, I think, if you remember a food timeline in the book where you think back to when you're really young and you write dates and what were you maybe eating at the time and what was going on in your life at the time, and you write all that stuff down, and all of a sudden that's when you can start seeing, you know, connections. Maybe something stressful happened. I used to be one under stress. I'd go find the donut shop, you know, and then I'd eat that, and then I would feel sick. So then I'd eat something else to try and help feeling sick. And then I'd add more on top of it. So realizing those things about you none of this makes you a bad person. So I think that's the biggest thing to realize is we just got to learn how to drive the car, you know, drive this body.
Right. And you were talking about, you mentioned something about celebrating. So I have always had the thought that, dieting, you're going to have to, it's going to be hard, and you're going to have to, you know, all these negative feelings about to do it. I'm just going to fail. So why even do it at all? And what if we changed our mindset, like you were talking about celebrate, and it can be enjoyable because your body's going to actually feel better.
One of my biggest things is we want to look at changes as not deprivation, but we're trying. One of the main thing I tell my clients is how much nutrition can we get into you? Let's just start there. Let's get as much nutrition into you because the reality is you may look at someone that's obese and overweight, and they've done studies about this where the mom has actually been giving all the food to the children. And she's eating very, very little. So whenever her body gets anything, because it's starving itself, it saves everything. And it's it's nutritionally starving. You can also have, you know, depending on what you're eating, you could be eating the right amount of calories. And a lot of diet food is like this. Some of it's a lot of garbage. You're eating this stuff that really has no nutrition value. So you're going to be hungry faster. You're going to have cravings. But if you can pack real nutrition in on top of these things to start, the cravings stop, and you can celebrate those things. So small wins. I mean, and then you have the little stuff going on in your mind. Like, I have a little 4-year-old in here, and she's whiny baby sometimes, and she wants this stuff. And then, I talk. Whereas I used to really be angry about, I'm like, it's okay. We're learning. We are learning. And she's like, okay, I'll wait. So I just have fun with myself, and I celebrate kind of those aha moments and the little wins. It's all those little things every day. But, say the day that you actually are able to get some really great nutrition in, and maybe it's that one day that week and you fall sideways the rest, but celebrate. Celebrate.
Hey, you know what? We're all about celebrating here at Fave Lifestyle, celebrating all the women and all the journey that we're going through together, so we can be living that inspired life, if you will. So before we wrap up, just a couple different things to just go through briefly. So how are you eating different now? And then I want to end with talking a little bit more about your book launch.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Well, if again, my 10-year ago person would be freaking out at what I'm eating now, thinking I was crazy or how in the world had I ever done it. So I'm going to admit this to everyone. I'm a bit of a lazy coach, but I want nutrition. And the only way I can get it into me is I've got a Vitamix every morning that's packed. It's like the container's this big.
Yeah.
Packed with, I don't follow recipes either. I throw in greens, I'll throw in some fresh berries, a vegetarian powder, and depending on the day, another banana or something. And that I drink over, a 30-minute period of time, but it's like a massive salad that I get for breakfast. I know for me, if I eat breakfast food, I feel sick. I know that my body can't do the milk. It doesn't like oatmeal. I don't function well. But if I ate vegetables all day, so I have that for breakfast. And again, I'm lazy. I do it again for lunch. But that thing is packed with nutrition. It's just packed. And then I have a regular dinner of a meat, and then tons of vegetables and maybe a little grains. And sorry, I've got background noise all of a sudden. And
we're live.
Yeah, we're live. And it depends on what physical fitness I'm doing. So I've learned that about my body. If I'm going to do a lot of cardio work, if I'm going to do training, but women, please don't let that scare you, because what I do may not work for you. What I do is I help find what works for people in their life. Some people can't stand smoothies. My clients, they're like, I'm not doing that. That's fine. We're great. We'll figure, so there's nothing, what I found that works best for me. Best for me. Yeah.
I'm actually going to go have a smoothie right after this.
Yes.
I don't have any food yet. And I don't usually eat a lot of like spinach and all that kind of stuff, but in the smoothie I do. It's really good. And put that, you said, a banana or some almond butter in with it, and oat milk now that I use. It's really good.
Yeah, and mix it up and have fun, and don't worry about following recipes to the T. It's about how much nutrition can you get into your body throughout the day. And then, if you want to go have a snack or a treat, have a treat. We have treats here, I allow myself treats. So once I learned that I didn't have to deprive myself. And lastly, when diet companies say, eat what you want, but what tagged me was, as you grow through your health journey, actually what you want changes. It's really interesting.
Oh, wow.
Really interesting. Yeah.
So we are about out of time here, but I wanted to just tell us quickly about your book launch that's coming up here on Tuesday.
Yes. So next Tuesday, my book, I have a co-author, Ingrid Lau. She is from Santiago, Chile. We met in school. We were peer coaches through school. And we realized she's in Santiago, which is 6,400 miles away. She and I had similar health issues. Our countries are dealing with the same issues with food, and it's based around the processed foods. We don't know the connection. And so I'll show you this is the cover, Your Personal Journey with Food. And again, it's available. It will be live on Tuesday, the 6th on Amazon. you can search my name, and it should pop right up, Tracy Cromwell. And it's a phenomenal book. Like Karen said, it's meant to be written in. It's meant to, I hope when people read this, this thing is tattered and well worn out. It's also got a website affiliated with it where you can, we'll be putting in free downloads for readers and worksheets. So if you want to go through it again and you've tattered your book, you can download all the workbook stuff again in the journal. And we basically guide you, along the way to find your personal journey with food, your starting point, so that you can get where you want to go.
Yes, I think I went, you read the introductory, and then I think I went to like chapter 5.
Oh, interesting.
And so I can't remember if that's, but yeah, so it's like, oh, I'm going to, it almost was a little weird. It's like, because we're so used to reading things in order.
Yes, I forgot about that. Yes, so in the beginning, the introduction, you take an assessment, and again, the assessment is not meant for you to feel bad. Please, you will. I know you will. It happened to me. It's like, oh, I'm not doing well in this area. But the idea is that you read you have the option to read the book from front to back, or you make up your own order by how your assessment went. And so for you, it looked like chapter 5. You said was where you were meant to go first, because you can read a book from front to end, and maybe it's the last chapter that really
resonates.
You're feeling like this was what I needed. So our hope is that you can hop around this book in the order that you are needing to read it.
Right. So exciting. So make sure we'll put the links down when your book launches so the ladies can go search for that and purchase the book. And Tracy, how can women get a hold of you if they would like to work with you as a coach?
Oh, fantastic. So I have a website, and it's my name, just tracycromwell.com. You can go there, and I offer a complimentary session. The little scheduling app will pop up, and you can go ahead and please feel free to talk to me. I'm on social media, so you can find me with my name there as well, and PM me if you'd like. Go ahead and friend request me, and I'm more than happy to be here for you.
Excellent. We've got some comments. I'll let you go and chat with the ladies in the comments after this. And so Katie says that she played the clarinet, and yes, giving our bodies permission and our minds permission to move forward in a positive way. So thank you so much for coming and joining us today at Fave Live and helping us to live an inspired life. And we're just going to have fun along this journey.
Yes, that's what it is. Learning can be fun, and learning about ourselves can be so fun and rewarding, and it's so worth the time. Put in the time. It's worth it. I promise you. It's totally worth it.
Yes. And ladies, if you would like to be a guest here at Fave Live, please reach out to me. I love to celebrate the women here in our community, and we will see you next time at Fave Live. Bye now.
Bye.